God bless you. I'm Pastor Ulysses from Revelation Sphere Ministries, and I would like to share some prophetic words and insights and dreams that I have received that I believe may take place in the near future. Every prophetic word shared here should be taken with prayer and careful consideration. My desire is not to frighten anyone, but to awaken the people of God and stir them up to a place of prayer so that we can come into agreement with God's will on earth for what He wants to do in this hour, and also to oppose the works of the enemy. Prophetic word number 1. I believe that for 2021, the first 4 months of the year will hold some beautiful things for the people of God. I believe we're going to see in the beginning of the year 2021 some blessings and breakthroughs and miracles that may have been withheld and that people have been believing for a long time. We're going to see the glory of God as we have never seen it before. I encourage God's people to look ahead for the first 4 months of 2021. That is important because of what lies ahead later in that year. Prophetic word number 2. I believe that for 2021 and beyond, we're going to see more and more attention drawn to the heavens. Our eyes will be drawn to the skies. More news will come out concerning asteroids, meteors, and activity in the heavenlies, even with regards to aliens. Something has opened up in the spirit realm, and devils have been allowed to increase their demonic activities. This has accelerated the enemy's plans. There is a sense of urgency in the kingdom of Satan because I believe he knows his time is running out and Jesus is returning soon. I believe that in the coming year, we're going to hear about things concerning space, asteroids, and signs in the sun and the moon like we have never heard before. Prophetic word number 3. This is a prophetic word for the USA. I believe that the hand of the Lord is on President Donald Trump. Through a prophetic dream I released January 1st of 2020 at revelationsphere.org. I believe that the Lord has chosen President Donald Trump for a second term in office. His second term will not come easy, as he would be viciously attacked and appear as if he had lost it all. But then something would occur that would seem nothing short of a miracle to overturn the election results. I believe God has chosen this man because the United States needs a strong leader in office moving forward into the future. This is important as the U.S. will have to face various enemies in the nations, and we're going to need a strong leader to keep them at bay. I also believe that the enemy is trying to place an Ahab in the White House, an Ahab man controlled by a Jezebel woman. This is the spirit that the United States have been battling these past 4 years. For more information on my prophetic dreams, stop by our webpage at revelationsphere.org and look up Prophetic Dream 2020 for all the details. Now, I will share another dream I had for the USA. This dream I had it on Saturday, December 12th, 2020. In this dream were 2 boats. One boat was shallow and close to the waters, while the other boat was an enormous cruise ship. They both were racing towards one another, and neither of them strayed from their path. Each vessel raced towards one another until they eventually collided. The smaller boat made an enormous long gash along the left wall of this enormous cruise ship. The smaller boat then manages to circle behind the enormous cruise ship and begins to flee in front of the cruise ship in the same direction it came. As the smaller boat begins to flee, the cruise ship begins to pursue it. This smaller boat was moving fast, almost like a speedboat. As I watched the cruise ship try to chase down the smaller boat, the cruise ship transformed into a man. It transformed into the President of the United States, President Donald Trump. The smaller boat did not transform into a man, but remained a boat. From this, I understand that the speedboat represents President-elect Joe Biden. The speedboat continued to race ahead of Donald Trump. As I observed, Donald Trump tried to catch the speedboat, but the speedboat managed to escape his grasp because of its speed. As I observed, the speedboat went ahead further and then went under the waters. As it went under the waters, it never resurfaced. President Donald Trump finally arrived at the location where the speedboat had gone under and started to search for it frantically, but he never found it. The speedboat never resurfaced again. Now I will stop here and interpret the meaning. I believe that capsizing of the smaller boat means one of two things. Either President-elect Joe Biden will escape capture and all consequences from the damage he has done to President Trump, or the President-elect Joe Biden will go under, as in dying before his time or very soon. I believe both might take place. As the scene shifts in my dream, I now find myself on board the cruise ship. As I look around me, I'm surrounded by people connected to law enforcement. They seem to be undercover agents. Then the scene shifts again, and I see President Donald Trump holding the president of China by the wrist and leading him into a special trial. As I observed, Donald Trump began to expose everything this president of China had done to harm him and the United States of America. I saw how President Donald Trump sat in front of the president of China and tell him to his face all the evil he had done. Then I watched as the president of China began to look around him as though he was looking for support, but he found none. In my dream, I looked and watched as China's president was in disbelief as to what was taking place. He began to look towards the ground in disbelief. He could not believe how he had been confronted and no one had come to his support. He looked embarrassed and without help. I then see him pull out his phone from his pocket and start to fiddle around with it, searching for something, but could not find it because of the embarrassment and shock of what was happening to him. Remember, in my dream, the president of China had been captured and placed in a special trial on this cruise ship's waters. Could this mean that a special trial will be held that will expose China's workings and how it has affected the United States and the presidency? We shall soon find out. Prophetic word number 4. I believe that by May, or the 5th month of 2021, things will start to take a turn for the worst. We may experience food shortages. Therefore, we must prepare by stocking up on supplies and canned food. I believe God is giving us the first 4 months of 2021 to do so. Prophetic word number 5. I believe this food shortage will be connected to a second virus. If God were to allow this virus to enter the USA, it would enter by the United States West Coast. This virus will be more deadly than coronavirus. We must pray against it. We must pray that God would protect us and keep us from every form of disease that seeks to invade the USA. Prophetic word number 6. Along with the food shortages, I also see something I'm not too excited about. Something that I believe we need to pray to stop. It is related to an invasion that takes place in the United States. Once again, I had a dream in March of 2020 where I'm suspended in the air and I can see the USA's whole eastern coast. As I look into the Atlantic, I see Russian and Chinese submarine ships in the waters. The Russians invaded the northern part of the USA and the Chinese the southern part. The scene shifts and I see 5 Asian military generals dressed in their green military attire with badges and stripes. They had many of these badges and stripes on their suits. I saw as they walked freely upon the streets of what seemed like to be Florida. As the 5 generals walked, I approached them. I knew they had invaded the USA, and I began to ask them why they were here. They were here in search of Spanish-speaking individuals, they said, but they never revealed why. Then, in the dream, I began to speak to them about Christ. And then one with a cigar in his hand said to me, "You're one of those Christians, aren't you?" And they proceeded to laugh at me and mock my faith. Little after that, we both split ways. They went one way and I went another. Then the scene shifts and I go over a bridge and I end up in a room where all I had to eat was a small ration of food I had hidden away in a drawer. I knew that this small portion of food was my last meal, and if I ate it, I would eventually starve to death. In my dream, I knew that Christians were deprived of food in this invasion because of their faith. Then I woke up. My concern is that a war would occur between China and the United States that would create further food shortages in this nation. I believe that we need to pray regarding the future of this nation and where we're headed. Once again, I advise that you take these dreams and prophetic words with prayer and intercession. Prepare yourself spiritually. Correct your relationship with the Lord first. Then do your due diligence and prepare with any supplies you may need, but please be ready by Passover. Please continue to pray and allow the Lord to lead you and to show you what you need to do if you feel these words are accurate. Personally, I am not looking forward for some of these prophetic words to come to pass, but I'm actually praying that they do not. I believe God warns us so that we stand in the gap and pray as to avoid the events the enemy has prepared against us. I hope that these insights have helped you. Please stop by our webpage, revelationsphere.org, for more information and articles. Thank you, and God bless.